Okay, good work. I suggest that we start with today. Actually, the shiur should be on the preparation from the Hagadah on the whole Seder of the night. The Seder, it's called the Seder simply because it's important to follow the Seder that Chazal have given us. Basically there are four big milestones in the whole Hagadah. The four milestones are represented by the Arba Koises. There is a chiyuv from Chazal to drink Arba Koises because they are actually making sure like that you will have and follow those four milestones that there is in the Hagadah. And what are the four milestones? It's, of course, like every Yom Tov, you have to make Kiddush. Kiddush, if it is the Doraisa or the Rabbonon, that's already a Machloikes, but we can assume that it has a Doraisa Dikedinim, the Kiddush of Yom Tov. If it's on Friday night or Motzei Shabbos, then it becomes a Doraisa anyway, but that's Kiddush. Then we have the Hagadah, it's a second mitzvah. There's a mitzvah to be Magid, to tell the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, and on this we're going to make also a kos. And then it's going to be on the matzah, because after the matzah we have to bench, we have to have a meal, and we have to bench, and on the benching we have a kos. And the fourth one is the Hallel. There is a chiyuv also to say Hallel on that night. It's we learn it from a posuk in Novi, and so therefore those are the four mitzvahs that the person has to make sure that he has done. So he has to make kiddush, he has to eat matzah, he has to tell the story, and he has to say halal. And the order is important, and therefore it's called a seder. So there should be a seder in it, as we shall more or less see later on how the seder goes. But what is also important is a lot of people have a difficulty sometimes in drinking the koises. So it's actually the kos is quite small. The really halachic kos is quite small, because in reality, normally you don't have to drink the whole kos, but on the Seder night you have to drink the whole kos. And I think that the reason why is because Chazal have even forced the Oni, a poor man, also to drink, to have wine for 4 koises. If it would only be Roif kois, then the Chazal could have told him to have 2 or 3, just for 2 or 3, because he doesn't have to finish. So the fact that Chazal say, no, you have to have 4 koises, wine for 4 koises, you have to even invest in it, you have to even sell your clothes, whatever it is that you have to do. Therefore, it is important that that it seems that Chazal understood that you have to finish off the whole course. The course itself is it does not have to be big. It's only 86 cc milliliters. Kois, it's very interesting because kois has the gematria 86. It's not.
Where they don't sell kois is exactly 86, so we know how much it is.
Yeah, there are those some koises which are not 86, but you're right. They could have created a course because it's. I know that a lot of people have it difficult to finish the whole course.
But they had this CC measurement back then.
No.
Gematria.
It's by chance.
Maybe it was a liter.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, but it's no, by chance that somebody figured out, because they made the measurement. It came out to 86, and then somebody says, "Look, it's gematria kois." So it's by chance. It's a good memory. What? Sorry? Yeah, Napoleon he created the liters. Yeah, the meters also. Yeah.
But I do hear that golf course is enough. You can even add water.
Okay, no, the adding water, this is before. This is before you make the brocha. That's not a problem. But once you make the brocha, but you should try to drink the whole course. There is an inyan to drink the whole course, halachically. Yeah, I'm just telling you, roif course, you're yoitzer. Nobody, it's not like you.
So you put wine and water.
Or if you want, or you buy this yain kal. The best thing is to buy yain kal. It's only 4% alcohol.
But you use grape juice.
Grape juice, you can use grape juice.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm 3.5% of grape juice, around 64.
Yeah. It's okay. As long as we paskin that we can use grape juice. I'm just telling you that there is the difference between normal koises in Kiddush is that we should have rof kos, and here is like a tchille also to have kol hakos, to finish the whole kos. It's a katchila. So why not if you can? Therefore, take a small koises. I have at home small koises, and then it's enough. But it's important that if we're already doing it and you can buy a small kos, it's better to have a small kos and drink the whole than to have a big kos and then only drink roiv. Because from the Chazal, it's mashma that it's a inin to finish the whole kos. By the way, it's also very interesting. I don't know, I didn't see it, but the kezayis is also 27 grams. So it's 27 chov zayin is also 27. So just for your information, easy to remember.
But nobody knows how much it is. Why when you eat?
Why?
You know how much it is?
Oh, so what you do is but you have, when you take a box, you see how much is the box. There are 12 in the hand matzahs. There are 12. I don't know how many there are. 10 something. Then you divide by 10, and then you have more or less an average. And the same I will do with machine matzahs also. I think it's like 3/4 of a whole machine matzah. It's quite a lot. So for the doraisa, you should try. For the first kezayis, one should try to have mamish a third of the hand matzahs, I think, and then 3/4 of a machine matzah. And afterwards, for the koirach, you can be mekel. It can be half of that. You don't have to make a big. It's not possible, especially for the ladies there. So there you can be mekel on the smaller kezayis. But kezayis is the first kezayis we should be machmir. Don't forget that this is a mitzvah aseh doraisa. We don't have mitzvah aseh doraisa to eat, only in the Beis Hamikdash, right? It's a mitzvah aseh that we eat in the Beis Hamikdash always korbanos. That's the only mitzvah that we have in eating, that you have to eat a kezayis. Yeah, ici, prends. It's the only mitzvah of. So when we eating, it says in the Chazal in the later Mekubolim, when a person eats matzah, it's like it's a korban. So you should really try to eat it with mindfulness, so that you're eating a korban that you're allowed to eat outside the Beis Hamikdash. So it's like it's something. The Be'erev Toich L'Matzah is Chazal teach us. Be'erev Toich L'Matzah is a mitzvah aseh when you don't have a korban pesach. When you do have a korban pesach, then it's al matzah sumoirim yochlu. So it's a tachlif from the korban pesach. So there is a lot in Mekubolim that it is mamish eating like a korban. So a person should eat it and also try to eat it with simcha. So to tachas hashalavat Hashem ekecha b'simcha, do it with a bit more of an enthusiasm. I know it's sometimes difficult. You're stressed, you this and that. It's but to do it a little bit more with the cheshik and a bit of kedusha, it can be, and to be machmer a little bit on the kezayis of the first kezayis, it should be you should try. Then we have so we've done the kaddish, it's the first course. Then we do uchatz, the karpas. There we eat the karpas. Alpi pashtus, the karpas is in order to do the boire pri huadomo, so that we are yoitze also the moroi, because there's a whole shaila if the moroi you need boire pri huadomo, you don't need boire pri huadomo, and so when we eat the karpas, we are thinking already for the moroi, and we are washing our hands. The washing the hands is a remnant of in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. In the time of the Beis Hamikdash, there was an exaggeration on the tahara. We had to have washing their hands continuously. Water is quite a dangerous item, and when you dipped in something and you fell on your fingers, then your whole fingers became also a tumor. It's yodayim, and therefore we wash our hands continuously in the Beis Hamikdash. And this is still a remnant for us to remember how it used to be when we were eating properly the Korban Pesach. Okay, so it's kind of a remnant of the tahara that there used to be in the time of if we would have eaten the Korban Pesach. If we would have eaten Korban Pesach, we would have been very, very careful with what we touch. Yeah, we would be careful because the yodayim becomes a tumor, which is Chazal, if you remember, a lot the Yudches Takonos, and a few of them was with the yodayim, and that water is a rishon, if you remember. Yeah. So in any case, so this is the the uchatz is more of a remnant of the tahara that used to be in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. So we're going back to the Beis Hamikdash. I didn't tell you, but there is the simonim of the Seder. The simonim of the Seder is to make sure that we're doing in the right order, but also to enable us to remember what the Seder is. Don't forget, people did not have always an Hagadah Shel Pesach with them, or people did not know how to read. That's another problem. Not everybody knew how to read. But then you have a song, and this song is Kadesh Uchatz. It rhymes. I hope that it rhymes. Kadesh Uchatz Karpatz Yachatz. So the Uchatz Yachatz. Magid Rochzo Moitzi Matzo. The Tzotzo. Moroch Koirer Shulchan Oirer. It rhymes. And then Soven Borer Halel Nirzo. So here the Reich is from the previous sentence, and the Nirzo is from the second sentence, Matzo and Rochzo. So it's like a rhyming song. It helps us in remembering the Seder. The Yachatz, the idea of the Yachatz is that be'etzem, so that we should make a brocha on the Lechem Oini. In Sefer Dvorim, the matzah is called Lechem Oini, and so to have a sholem, a full matzah, is not very oini, and so we break it in two, and the smaller one we keep for the lechem oini, and so we have from 3 matzahs we make 4. Yeah, so we make from 3. Originally, you have to buy 3 matzahs. That's the chiyuv, is to buy 3 matzahs, 2 for lechem mishnah, like every Yom Tov, and then we have 1 matzah that we're going to break in 2. So that we have 4. So the one will be for the lechem oini, and the other one will be for the apikoima. So we end up with the 4 matzahs that you need during the meal. So that's the yachatz. But since we did the yachatz, suddenly the children will ask a question: what is this yachatz? And so then we have an opportunity to answer straight away. And then we start with the magid, and we answer straight away on the yachatz. So this is holach mo'anyo. So the holach mo'anyo is be'etzem an Hagadah, a small Hagadah, that it's a mini compressed Hagadah. Yeah. So we tell everything already in the Hagadah. So holach mo'anyo, the achol avosonu ba'aro de Mitzrayim, and that's Hashem kol dich be'Yisrael kol Yisrael v'shon abo ba'aro d'Yisrael. So in other words, it's kind of a gula. It's kind of a little Hagadah that we are doing because the yachatz. So it's related to the yachatz. And then we start with the magid. The magid has, we already discussed every year, but I will just quickly review it. The magid has, in essence, 4 different Hagados. So there were 4. The mitzvah of Magid is simply to tell the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, and so there are 4 different opinions of what is it really that we are telling, which story are we really telling. So there are 4 Hagados. Yeah, again the number 4. The number 4 comes back many times. The 4 matzahs that we end up, the 4 koises, and in the Magid we also have 4 Hagados that we are telling, and these are 4 different opinions. And each opinion held that he is the one that actually represents the Magid. So there is the first one is the Hagadah from Shmuel. So each Hagadah has to start with a question and then ends with a storytelling. So it always has to be a question and an answer. That is basically also how it says in the posuk, then you should answer him. So it is a question and an answer. It is important to notice that it is always considered the son that asks a question, and it is the father that answers. That's symbolic. It's, of course, we try likatchila to do it, but it's a symbolic, because if you don't have children at home, you ask yourself, your wife can ask you, or you can ask even yourself. But the idea, why a son and a father, and this I like very much what Manitou says, children, the son represents the youth, which actually only are forward-looking. Children, they look forward, they look to the future. Ovois, like a bit avot, is the older people, and older people, they tend to look backwards. They look in time backwards. They talk about nostalgia. The youngsters are not interested in nostalgia. They are more interested in the future. They're looking forward to the future. And so the idea, like I explained you last week, is we have to train our children to also at least 1 week in the year to look backwards. And so what do? They ask the father, what are you doing? And so we make something so that they should ask, and then they're going to listen to our answer, so that they should be, it's kind of a trick to trick them in also trying to receive the message of what happened in the past, okay? So the children are the future looking, they're not interested in the past, so we are doing the whole theater in front of them so that they should ask the question, and then we have an opportunity to tell them what happened in the past. So that's the main idea of why it has to be Beloshon Sipur, mainly to remind ourselves of who we were, as I explained you last week. So the Manishtano is already mentioned in the Mishnah. The Manishtano is the questions, the 4 questions are what we call a duality. It's a stira that the child sees. So a child sees something, which, by the way, I don't have an answer, but it's maybe you will find it in your Hagadas, and then you can send me, but I don't have an answer. But that's those questions he has not seen yet. Yeah, it's still before even the meal. And so how does he know that we are going to eat it? We'll have two tvilas. How does he know that we're going to eat it besefer? And how does he know? He doesn't know it yet. He hasn't seen it yet.
He's seen it because he's not asking questions for the year 1. He's probably year 5.
Okay, but we're talking about, let's assume the theoretical perspective. You're right. Practically, you're right. But in the theoretical perspective, then, yeah.
But it was the first year he didn't.
Yeah, the first year he didn't. So when it's a young boy, so it's a bit of I don't have an answer yet. But in any case, so these are the questions, and the questions are for Manishtano are duality, the way that we have it. It's different than in the Mishnah, but the Hagadah has made it a bit of why? What is the question? First, you tell me that we have to eat only matzah, not chometz. Yeah, so it seems interesting. Matzah seems to be the pure bread, and then the pure bread, whatever, it's a cherus, we see it, and then we have to eat more, so it's a bitterness. Then we don't make tvila is cherus, and this we do 2 times, so we are becherus, and but we eating. So basically, he doesn't understand exactly what is here. Is it a cherus or is it a shibut? So he has a stira. That's the stira that he finds in here. So matzah, let's put it that way. Matzah and moror both are lechem oini, and moror is avdus. Sorry, yeah. Matzah and moror is avdus. Yeah. So he sees, we remind ourselves of the avdus, and then he sees that we are make tvila, that is a sign of richness, and we are eating mesubin like ben choirin. So he says, I don't understand what you're doing. You people have schizophrenic, dual personality disorder, whatever. It's either that or that. And so for this we answer him, no. Avod imoyinu lefaro b'mitzrayim. So we are telling him, we answer him that actually both are true, that we were avodim, but Hashem took us out. Okay, so this is the cherus and the avdus. Okay, so it is the stira. The child sees a contradiction. He's not just asking, why do you eat matzah, why do you eat mesubin? He asks more on the contradiction that there is in the day. What is this Yom Tov? Is it a celebration? Or is it a Tisha B'Av, remembering of bad times? Okay, a child does not understand. Okay, is it clear? Yeah.
This question he asked probably also by where to remind us, so to remind us.
Yeah.
Something to be forgotten.
Yeah. So we also have a bit of Yeah. Every Simcha Zecher, and then we have to remind ourselves every year. Yeah. That's already a more philosophical question. Here it's a practical, what he sees, a question. So he doesn't know, what is this Yom Tov? Is it a celebration or not? And so this is basically, like I explained you, to remind ourselves that we were avodim. I think the most important part is really that part, that we have to bring us back to the humbleness, that one day we will be very strong and will be on top of the world. It is always to remind ourselves that we were avodim. It is very similar to what I always, I saw this many times, that you see a person comes from the shtetl, and after the pogroms, and he was, let's say, the lowest of the jobs, like he was a Wasserträger in a shtetl in Poland or in Galicia, whatever. And then he goes up to America. He has no choice. He goes to America and he becomes the multi-billionaire. Yeah, he has mansions and everything. But then what he keeps always is in front of his dining room, he keeps still a bucket. The bucket to remember he was a Wasserträger. So this is similar. It's important. He wants to show to his children that he was a Wasserträger, that to really know who were we, and not to forget that we were also avodim, and probably out of living Nasiyah, to never forget that we were avodim, so that we should not look down to avodim, but we should help and to be more ethical and with the people that are also in trouble. Sorry? This I didn't say. You want to be politically correct, yeah. What? Sorry?
We are
the Palestinians, yeah. In any case, so this is the Avodim. So there is a Rav and there is a Shmuel, and so Shmuel Hagadah starts with Avodim Lefaro b'Mitzrayim. The Gemara says there are two Hagados, so Machlokes Rav and Shmuel, and the Rav says that it is from Borosh Nosan Tor Lam Yisrael, and Shmuel says it's Avodim Lefaro b'Mitzrayim. So the Machlokes between Rav and Shmuel I already explained you. What is the main reason why Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim? Is it in order to bring us to Eretz Yisrael, or is it in order to give us the Torah? And so you have always the two big machlokes. You have the Zionistic approach, like Shmuel, who says, no, the Yitzias Mitzrayim is to go into Eretz Yisrael. And by chance, we also went to Har Sinai to receive the Torah. But we came out of Mitzrayim in order to go to Eretz Yisrael. Yeah. Oh, that's why. So there is always the two, but there is also a posuk in the Vorim that Yitzias Mitzrayim, and we shall see it maybe. So it clearly says Leman Hovi Oisonu. So the idea of coming out of Mitzrayim is in order for us to go to Eretz Yisrael. So there's these two machlokes. What is really the main purpose? What are we celebrating? So according to Shmuel, it is Poshut V'Etzeinu Mishom B'Yot Chazoka. And then you have actually three parts. Yeah. So you have one part is Avodim Moinu Farum Mitzrayim. Then comes Maaseh B'Rabbi Eliezer B'Rabbi Yeshua B'Reloz Ben Azariah B'Rabbi Akiva B'Tarfon, and they were telling B'Tzias Mitzrayim. And so there we already saw many years, multiple years. I always explain to you that a lot, according to many later Talmidei Chachomim, they believe that this was actually the meeting was by Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was the youngest of them all. So why would the oldest go to the youngest? And second of all, where were their family? They were eating a Seder night by themselves, Talmidei Chachomim. And why didn't they see the Talmidim? Why didn't they see that it was Kriyas Shema? They could see it from the windows. So they claim that this whole story is actually be'oisoi. Means the night that they decided to rebel with Bar Kokhba. That was the night of the decision that Bar Kokhba, that they were going to start with Bar Kokhba, and that is what the Talmidim said. It came the time for the Geula. In other words, the Alois HaShachar is here, and we have to, the Alois HaShachar means the Geula, and therefore it was a symbol of saying that now is the time. That's why Rabbi Akiva is the one that led and supported the Bar Kokhba. He was a Toiradik, the halachic authority in the army of Bar Kokhba. What, sorry?
Under the Romans.
Under the Romans, yeah. But it didn't last very long. But at least we had a little bit of time of Geula. What? Yeah. This is the same question is also on Hanukkah, and that. Yeah, and here it was not very long. Yeah.
Kick the Romans out after it's
Yeah. So we kicked for a while. We kicked out the Romans. Bar Kokhba.
The second Beis Hamikdash was for an eternity, right?
There was no Beis Hamikdash, and in Bar Kokhba there was still a Beis Hamikdash. There was no Beis Hamikdash. Yeah.
Okay, so
It's a revolution. It's a revolution years after, but it's a total fiasco.
Yeah.
It's a total fiasco.
Yeah.
From the first and the second Beis Hamikdash.
The question is why.
After the second, Mamish at the end. Yeah. Yeah.
Why we have to remember
Yeah.
the fiasco?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so that's why. So it's not to remember So what they explain, what Rab Sherki and others explain, there is always the past, the present, and the future. And so these three this is the past. Avodim Yinu is the past. Ma'aseh Rabbi Eliezer is the Geula of the now. What we have to do to bring the Geula, and Omar Rabbi Eliezer ben Azario, there it ends up with Lehovil Mois HaMoshiach, and that is the future. So you always have the past, the present, and the future in the Geula. So it's not that we have to remember the story of Rabbi Akiva, but we have to remember that each generation has an obligation to speed up the Geula, to go for to try to see if there is a possibility to do the Geula. Yeah, this is Shmuel's opinion that you have to jump in. Remember the Machlokes, if you have to do the first step, or you have to wait for Hashem to be passive in the Geula. And so Shmuel is maybe the one that, according to them, that's how they want to explain it. It's you have to actively bring the Geula, and then Moshiach will come. And that is the last, the third passage. Okay? So there are three passages that we say in Shmuel's Hagadah.
How do we know that it's a
What? B'Bnei Brak. B'Bnei Brak was in the city of Rabbi Akiva. Yeah. And so therefore it was a secret meeting. It was a secret meeting, so they were probably in the basement. It was hidden, or the windows were closed, and the Talmidim were the soldiers that were the rebel soldiers. They were standing Shomrim outside, and then they went in and said, now is the time. They said, this is really a good time to do it. So it was Lav Dafka on Pesach. That's what he wants to say. It was not on Pesach that night. Yeah? But Oysa Alalo means that night that they made a decision. And then the last one is about the Geula. Oh, but that's what it means, that they were talking about military, how to get out of the Romans. The same Geula. So they were talking not from the past, but they were more busy with the current Geula.
So we didn't rely upon it.
No. Oh, no, that's the correct. Yeah. Well, so let's see that this is, like I said, it's a religious Zionistic viewpoint of these Shmuel. Okay.
What was the name for the prophet?
Bar Kokhba. Yeah.
Rabbi Akiva didn't see that he was fake.
Yeah, but that's what already Chazal already speaking about that. I mean, everybody says that there was that he thought he was Moshiach, nearly, that he was kind of already a Moshiach ben Yosef.
How could he fall from it?
So that's why the Rambam and everybody says we have to be very careful with I will erase that from. Yeah. No, I have to be careful for Mashiach. So because you can make mistakes. The second Hagadah is Rav's Hagadah, and Rav is about the Torah. It's a religious salvation. In other words, it is mitchilo oiv d'avodah zoro yavasein v'achshav kavon amokum l'avodah zoro. So it is more about that we were oiv d'avodah zoro, we were not from, and then Hashem made us from. So this is be'etzem the avodim u'in lefarim Mitzrayim. That is the physical salvation. And according to Rav, no, we have to celebrate the spiritual salvation. Okay, it is about spiritual salvation. This is mitchilo oiv d'avodah zoro yavasein v'achshav kavon amokum l'avodah zoro. That is the sentence that a person has to say according to Rav. And then the questions according to Rav. Therefore, he has the 4 questions that it says in the Posuk. The more avodah azois, and then you ask the questions that already he mentions, the ones that are written in the Posuk, in the Psukim. There is something very interesting. So to understand why is a chochem, because Chazal say that there are 4 times in the Torah that it says that your children will ask you, and that what you should answer. And Chazal say those 4 are different kinds of sons. So they look in the text and they realize that we are talking about 4 different kinds of sons. And so it's interesting to know how come that Chazal knew this is a chochem, and this is a rosh, and this is a tam, and this is sheino de'elishol. So Pashtus is, the chochem is a person that is intellectual stimulated. And so he asks, Moho Eidois, Fa'achukim, Fa'amishpotim. So he really wants to know the details. He wants to know the halachas. So he's not interested be'etzem in the history. Be'etzem, the chochem is not a perfect person, because he doesn't ask you the questions that will lead you. He doesn't ask you the why. He asks you the what.
So
Yeah.
He missed the point.
He missed the point, be'etzem. Exactly. You only tell him an halacha. You don't tell him the story. Somehow, for the chochem, it's an interesting part. He doesn't ask you the right question. He asks you the vos darf man tun. He asks you the farvos. In Pesach, you want him to ask the farvos. You want to ask the why, but he doesn't. The chochem is not the one that brings you to the right answer. The Rosha, it's very interesting. So the Rosha says, "Mo avodah zos lochem." And but that's by the Chochem also, because there it says Asher tziva Hashem Elokeinu eschem, but on the other hand he says Elokeinu. So there is a bit of here the more avodah zos lochem, but in reality from the answer, which in the Hagadah it doesn't bring, because if you look in the Hagadah, it brings you the same answer that you should answer to the she'eino de'alishoy. If you look in the Hagadah, he says, yeah, but this is also the same answer, the same posuk that we say to the she'eino de'alishoy. It's exactly the same posuk. So the posuk from the Rosh is the same as the posuk from the she'eino de'alishoy. Okay? So l'choire is l'choire a bit difficult. So the way that I understand it, I will bring back the posuk. So the Rosh is Yud Beis Chovov. And then he has to answer, "V'amartem zeva Pesach ul Hashem, asher posach al bote bnei Yisrael b'Mitzrayim, b'nok v'Yisrael v'ezboteinu hitzi, v'eketom v'yishtachavu." So it is that because we suddenly speak al bote bnei Yisrael, why does he have to say bnei Yisrael? It's like in the 3rd form. Al boteinu. Why does he speak about al bote bnei Yisrael? So it means, in other words, that he is talking to a Rosh, to somebody that excluded himself from the Jewish people, because otherwise the question would be that the answer is a bit strange. Yeah, if it was an innocent question, means lochem means us, then he would have said al boteinu, like he explains later. Why does he say al bote b'nei Yisrael? because he excluded himself from the Bnei Israel. Here, the Hagadah, he brings down the posuk that already was mentioned by the Shena Dilisha. So I don't know. They speak about that on the same posuk as an answer to two different of the children. Okay.
So what's there's no explanation?
No. So here he wanted to say Bavur Li. So it's like Hake Shino, to not only answer him, but also to give him a musar. And therefore he points on the Bavur Zeh also Hashem Li. Why Li? And Li means that me and somebody else not. So it must be the Rosha. So we use that posuk for the Rosha as a musar. But that's the answer is clearly an answer to somebody who didn't ask a question. Vigato levincho, there's no question there, yeah? In the posuk Vigato levincho, Yud Gimel Ches, there is no Vigato levincho. It doesn't say yeah, it doesn't say anything. It says you should spontaneous tell. Yeah, so this is the posuk that goes the spontaneity, and so the child doesn't ask a question. So the reason be'etzem the Rosha is clearly a Rosha. Why? Because it says that the Botei Bnei Israel. So he excluded the answer. From the answer, you see that he excluded himself from the Bnei Israel. But then we have another Musar, Li veloy loy. So there is somebody that is not deserving to come out of Mitzrayim, and that was the Rosha. So it's a bit of if you have a better answer, let me know. Okay, it's a bit of a difficulty in the Loshen here. The best question is the Tom, Mazois. Yeah, that's the best question, the Tom, because there we say clearly, that's exactly what we should say. Okay, the Tom has the question that has the answer that we were required to do in the night. Yeah, but this is the.
So they're not interested in the history.
Yeah. So you assume that this is one Hagadah, but that's why I explained you. These are two different Hagadas. So according to Rav, they didn't say Avodim Mohinu. They started straight away. That's why it's mashma from Rabbeinu Hananel. Not everybody agrees with that. Yeah, but from Baruch Hamoko in Baruch Hu. What? Yeah. It's the always it's a question. Then you need a question. The question is Mazois, Moavoidazois. These are the questions, and then the answer is Mitchilo Avoidazor. This is the answer.
So the four kashas is from Rav?
No, the four kashas is from Shmuel.
From Shmuel.
Yeah.
So who wrote that?
The parts are written already in the Mishnah. Parts are written. We have parts that the Gemara brings down, and the rest is from the Goinim. The Goin, somebody from the Goin. We don't know whom. We don't know the author of the Hagadah Shel Pesach. It's a bit of a mystery. He didn't put his name. No. It's later, much later. No.
So again, his question: where does Rav's Hagadah start?
The Rav Hagadah start, I believe, Baruch Hamokom Baruch Hu, because he says Baruch Shnos Antor Lam Yisrael Baruch Hu. So it's with the Nesinas HaTorah. Suddenly we speak about Nesinas HaTorah. That is Rav. It's just after the three stories in the beginning.
Basically, Shmuel got the question down to the Problem.
Yeah.
And then Shmuel and Rav got the question Baruch Hamokim.
Yeah.
You got the link to
Yeah.
Okay, so then the four questions are from.
No. The four questions are Manishtanu, they are for Shmuel.
I mean the four types.
Yeah, these are part of Rav's. Yeah, these are Rav's. Yeah. That's why it's a Torah-dik question. More avoid is a chukim, mishpotim. It's haluchas. It's more Torah-dik. Rav is a more Torah-dik approach, a religious approach, and therefore he says mitchila avoid the He speaks about the chochem, a rosha. He speaks about religious language. Yeah. These are religious language. The first one has no religious language in that, very little. Yeah, it's a bit, but it's the ikir is the physical salvation, and the Hagadah from Rav is the spiritual salvation. Yeah, it's the Metrilo of the Avodah Zorah. Yeah, there is something very interesting. Is Ve'etin le'Esav es har seir loresh es roiso v'Yaakov bonu v'yordu Mitzrayim. Yeah, so the question is, why do we mention here that the Esav? Why does the Torah mention? Yeah, and so the idea is that Hashem promised. That's why we continue in the next part. So Baruch Shomer Avtochoso L'Yisrael. Yeah, Baruch Hu Shakodesh Baruch Hishav Es Haketz. Yeah, and then he says Bevris Ben Absurim Shnema V'Yomer L'Avrom Yudo Yateda Kiger Yezaracho Beres Lo Elohem V'Avotim Binu Oisim Abba Miyasun Gam Sagoy Hashavod Nudon Achi Yesu B'Chush Godol. So Kiger Yezaracho Beres Lo Elohem. If Lo Beres Lo Elohem, so your children Zarachu will be in Eres Lo Elohem. But Esau, was he in Eres Lo Elohem? Esau, that's what he says. And he gave it to him. Yeah?
Not yet.
No, but he gave it to him. When it was there, it was already Yeshua. It was already given to them. Yeah? It was just, they already had it, Har Seir. So they never went to Mitzrayim. They never went to Golus. And so who is the Zaracho of Avram? It is Bnei Yaakov. Okay? It's a confirmation that we are the children of Avram. Yeah, because in the Bris Ben Absurim, Hashem said to Avram, your children will go to Golus. But Esau did not go to Golus. He had Har Seir straight away. He went to Har Seir and he was Gyoresh Har Seir in the time of Yeshua. So in the time of Yeshua, we see here that the Zera from Avram means Klal Yisrael. Okay? That's why we mentioned the Kiger Yezaracho, to make sure that we are the children of Avram. Yeah? Is it clear? There is a the question indeed, why are we saying Magid before the matzah? Why aren't we saying the matzah, eating the matzah, and then the children will ask? So why take the order is like that? So I think that the order is because we said Ba'avur they still have to be in front of you. So you have to tell the story. They have to do the that is just as before sorry, I'm going a bit yeah. So it says and so therefore our Hagadah is taka magid first and then only matzah, because once we ate the matzah there is no more munuchim lefonecho. Yeah, so it's in order to have matzah more in front of you. The Shakodesh Baruch Hu Chishav es Haketz, in the more academic world, they want to say that the Baal Hagadah is a very strong anti-Zionist. Okay, so he's an anti-Zionist, and he wants to make sure that HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chishav es Haketz. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take us out when the time is ripe. Yeah, it's going to be HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's not something that you can speed up. There is a case. There is a time. Speaks about the time, the itoy, like Achisheno, is going to the itoy, and therefore there is no. It won't help you to do something in advance. Yeah, they are in the academic world. They want to say that the Baal Hagadah has this opinion, as we shall see, that he is quite anti-Zionist and also anti-Christian. When we finish on the end of the Hagadah from Rav, it will start with the Hagadah from the Mishnah. So in the Mishnah it says mefurish that you should say the Hagadah according to the Hagadah from the Bikurim. So when a person, Be'etzem, there is two Hagadas in the Torah. There's one Hagadah that we have to do in the night that we bring, the night of Pesach, that we bring the Korban Pesach. And the second Hagadah is when you bring the Bikurim. When the Jew had to bring Bikurim, he also had to do an Hagadah. And this is the Kriya, it's called. Chazal call it a Kriya. That is what we say in Kisovoi. The whole parsha of Kisovoi is based on the beginning. You should come to the Kohen, הגדתי היום להשם אלוקיך, כי בוסי אל האורס, ולא קרא כהן, וניסו ומחתו לפני השם אלוקיך, והרמי אוי ודובי, והירד מצוימו. Yeah, it's an Hagadah that every Jew, every farmer, it's a farmer, had to do when he brings his bikurim. So he has to say also an Hagadah. Yeah. But it's the same Hagadah, because it tells a story, the same story. And so in the Mishnah it says that one should be doirish, he should take that psukim and learn it by limud. Yeah, Mishnah says doirshin. Yeah. Am I going too quick or? So, yeah. 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 So the Vehish Omdo, why do we say Vehish Omdo suddenly? Why do we say Vehish Omdo? Where does this come from? And so because in the next part, we will mention the Golus of Lovon. So why are we mentioning the Golus of Lovon? Why suddenly? So it is, that's why the introduction is that every generation has a Golus. There is always kind of a Golus. Yeah, the Golus is not something that once happened and will not happen. It happened already before the Golus Mitzrayim, and unfortunately it will happen after the Golus Mitzrayim. So in other words, it's one, to tell us it's one big Golus. And therefore the Yetzias Mitzrayim is a universal recurrent theme. Okay? So that's why with the introduction of the Vehishe Omdo is in order for us to know that there will be multiple Golusen, so that we can mention now the Golus of Yankov in Aram Naraim. Where was it? In Padan Aram, in there by Lovon. Okay, it's also Golus. Yeah, Yankov was in Golus. He couldn't go back to Eretz Yisrael, to his father. He had to run away. He was in Golus. Okay, and so the new Hagadah number 3 is Tzeolemat, and there we start with a question. So we have to ask with a question. It says, Ma bikesh Lovon Arami lasas leYankov Avinu. So it's a question. So we start with a question, Ma bikesh Lovon Arami, and then we start with the answer and the whole psukim that we say by the Bikurim, and we tell this psukim and we say Kmo shenemar, Kmo shenemar, Kmo shenemar. Yeah, we are always associating the Hagadah of the Bikurim to the story that is in Shmois. So we go from Devorim and we continuously go back to Shmois. Is it clear? Je vais trop vite? Yeah. And so this is the third Hagadah. So it's an Hagadah that Hashem already gave us. This is a very nice Hagadah. V'nitzach v'yirim sa Mitzrim, v'nitzach el Hashem, v'yitzil mitzrayim v'tchazuko v'zranetu v'yorigol v'yismoyvsi v'yim l'mokom hazeh. Okay, that already speaks about Eretz Yisrael. But that first part is already a very nice little Hagadah that Hashem already gave us, a little nusach of an Hagadah. And so therefore it says in the Mishnah that one should be doirish from the Bikurim. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember anymore where it says, but it's a Mefurish Mishnah, Mefurish to say, to be doirish the psukim from Bikurim, from the Hagadah from Bikurim. Then there is one of the biggest mysteries in the whole Hagadah. There are two mysteries, but it's based on the same question. First of all, Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned in the Hagadah, and second of all, the Baal Hagadah he learns the limud ani v'lo sorov v'chol mitzrayim etzur ani v'lo yasholiach ani Hashem anihu v'lo yacheh. So there is an exaggeration. This is at Vayotzeinu Hashem. Yeah, in the middle of the third Hagadah. Mamish in the middle. Yeah. So ani Hashem anihu v'lo yacheh. Ani v'lo shaliach. And Be'etzem is very difficult because Moshe Rabbeinu was a shaliach. The whole Meiser was done by a shaliach. So the answer, yeah, but the Makas B'choir is not. But why does he always mention Ani v'lo shaliach? So there, the academic world wants to say that this is an anti-Christian focus. Because to say that only HaKadosh Baruch Hu and not a human being. Yeah? So the focus of the Ani Hashem v'lo acher, it's that not a human being. It's never going to be human being. It's always Hashem. Hashem himself is the one that takes us out. Yeah, Moshe was a shliach, but he learns there is in the academic world they found in one of the psukim that it says Betzorosom lo yitzor. I don't know when we say it. Umalach elyon hoshiyom. I don't know why I know this posuk, but do we say it somewhere? Yeah. No. So, like I explained you, because it's a very nice Hagadah Nusach, so Chazal said, take this and then translate it on Shmois, on the story of Pesach. Yeah. Okay.
You were talking about?
So, but also loitzor, and normally it's written with an aleph, but we create with a verb. And normally the Chazal, the Medrash, teaches us, but also when Klal Yisrael is in pain, loitzor, Hashem also suffers. So Hashem suffers with us. So this is a very comforting pasuk, which we use a lot. What? Why?
We ask for help, not that this should.
No, but then because he's in pain, he's going to help himself already. So it's double gain. He will want to help us because we are Am Kroiboy. And yeah. But there's also because he himself suffers, so it's a bit comforting, and it's also we are optimistic. But there is in the Septuagint, in the translation, in the Greek translation, there is they translate it completely different. But Tzorosom, when they are in trouble, loy tzir umalach elyon. Loy with an aleph, tzir umalach elyon. Tzir means not tzor, but tzir. And tzir is a shliach. The word tzir comes from shliach. It's used in different places. And so what he wants to say is, but Tzorosom, when they are in trouble, loy tzir umalach elyon, but he is Yoshiem. Loy tzir umalach elyon Yoshiem. But he himself, I don't know, you have to continue the posuk, yeah? But in other words, the Balagoda learned this translation of the posuk. In other words, whenever Hashem saves us, he saves us he himself, and not a shliach, and not a malach elyon. So basically, they want to associate him, and it's really a kind of an anti-Zionistic, not to go up and go ourselves and do ourselves. No, Hashem himself, he's going to save us. And also anti-Christian, it's to take away everything that has to do with humans interaction. It's Hashem himself. It's always Hashem himself. Abyssal, yeah. But it's more out of fear for Yeah, but you see clearly that he doesn't mind to do a kvetch, a doichak, in order to save us from starting to believe in Bar Kokhbas and in Shabtai Tzvis, and you know what I'm saying? And in Jesus and in all kind of people, man. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
More godly than you.
Yeah.
Others were human.
Yeah, we're just humans. They only told us that they spoke with Ich hab gehört, ich hab gerät, ich hab gechulen. Yeah, maybe. What? And he goes to the right direction. I was hoping somebody, I didn't want to say it myself, but it is, yeah. It's to be careful on I just saw again, it's terrible. I feel sorry for people that need it. And there was also apparently in Breslev again, there was a certain, I didn't know, I thought he was Taka, but the Chassidim of this Maharash is from Shik, Rav Shik, a certain Shik, and they're also very much focused on the Rebbe, and they make him nearly as a god. Then you should listen once to one of the shiurim, because I don't think that you know what's going on in some Hasidism.
They're guiding their community.
Yeah, Shivisia Rebbe Lenegdi Somit. Yeah. Save, and it's unfortunate, but I think that's
more.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a very long Hagadah. That Hagadah is very long because it goes through the whole psukim of the Bikurim, and each letter he learns, because that's what it's written in the Mishnah. You should be doirish the posuk from Arami. The doirish me Arami oived ovi ad sheigmor kol haparsha kulo. It's a Mishnah. So we're doing like a Mishnah. Mishnah tells us we have to be doirish the whole parsha of Arami Oivedovi. Yeah? So this is the parsha that we're saying here, Arami Oivedovi. That's the parsha when Bikurim. It's a Mefurusha Mishnah, so we can't not do it. So we have to do it. And then the last Hagadah is the Hagadah from Rabbi Gamliel. And the Hagadah from Rabbi Gamliel starts with Rabbi Gamliel. Yeah? This is the fourth Hagadah. And he says, and so again, he asks questions. So the question is, and then he has the answer. And then Matsuzu, al Shumo, we have the answer, al Shumo, we have the answer. Okay? So these are the four Haggadahs. And these are also mentioned in the Mishnah. Yeah? The Mishnah also mentioned them. It's not one Hagadah, it's four Haggadahs, four different opinions that we are putting into one Hagadah, trying to make them fit with each other. That because he says Ba'avur Zeh also Hashem li b'tzeis mitzrayim, so the Hagadah has to be, we have to point out to something. Ba'avur Zeh. Zeh is always with the finger. So in other words, the Pesach should be, and then also the matzah he learns, because Pesach, Toysus said, because Pesach is Pirish Ba'amira shetuch loymar Pesach zeh shon oichlim ve'itkash matzah morer lePesach ve'tzurich loymar nami matzah zu morer zeh. Okay, so because Ba'avur zeh, so we point with the finger, it means that we should visually see it. It's a visualization Hagadah. Okay. We have a min. I don't know why they don't, because normally, maybe because you can't say matsuzu, because not there. Yeah. Still there you can, but then you can't say manishtano neither. I don't know why we stopped there by Shabbos Hagudl. It's a good question.
Why?
Shabbos Hagudl? I don't know. It's a minhag.
No, you open it.
Yeah.
You keep it in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, but okay. But the question, why do we say it in Shabbos Haggadol today? Let's start at the minhag later, and we have a minhag to say it loud. What? Sorry. Yeah. I think it's a bit to prepare as a preparation. But his question is, why do we stop then, Rabbi Gamliel? If the most important part is to, some say that really Rabbi Gamliel is the most important Haggadah, because it's the Lo Yotzei de Chovoso is quite sharp. You understand? All the others, whatever you say is to say. Avodi Moyinu, Mitrilo, Yisarami, Ovedovi, you're Yoitze. Rabbi Gamliel says, no, you're not Yoitze. You have to point out to the Pesach, Matzah, and Moroi. The start of the third Hagadah is Tzei Ulemad. Or V'yisha Omdo. That's what. The V'yisha Omdo is because that's my personal opinion is because we're going to speak about the Golos that happened before Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's the Golos of Yankev. So why do we speak about that? So V'yisha Omdo Lavaseinu. Yeah. So it's V'yisha Omdo Be'etzem. It's kind of the third Hagadah. And the fourth Hagadah is Rabban Gamliel. Yeah? Yeah. And that's already a generic conclusion. And here's something very interesting, which I heard from Mr. Kornbluth, the father of Yankee Kornbluth. He actually focuses something very, very nice, which I think is spot on. Yeah, he does have a question. Mazer al Shumma. Always, there's always a question. Yeah. It's always is a question and an answer. The four Haggadahs have a question and an answer. Sometimes the question is direct, sometimes the question is a bit indirect. Ma bikish. Yeah, it's a bit of an indirect question, but it should always be with a question to have the discussion going. And so he says here, and that's something which is very interesting. What does it mean? I mean, what does it bring us here? So some say that no, you have to on Pesach you have to really imagining as if. But the truth is, it has nothing to do. This has nothing to do with Pesach. Yeah, that we have to remember that we came out of Mitzrayim. But there is a very interesting. The last posuk is critical. Shenema. It says 2 times Oisonu. Yeah? It says 2 times Oisonu. Oisonu hoitze mishom, and leman hovi Oisonu. In reality, Moshe Rabbeinu said it when, after 40 years, the people that came out of Mitzrayim were there? No. And the people that are going to Eretz Yisrael, sorry? Only 2 of them, yeah. Yeshua and Caleb, yeah. No. So the Voisonu Hoitzi Mishom Leman Hovi Oisonu. So he speaks about the same Oisonu, but in reality, he speaks about 2 different people. Yeah? Elomai, he calls it specifically Oisonu. He took us out of Mitzrayim and he brought us into Eretz Yisrael. Means that the us is the same, means, that's a very important thing, that we are not a nation, we are not a people that die and then new people come in, and like we are new, but it means, in other words, we are like an organism that, like the cells is every few days refreshes itself. I mean, I don't think there's any of my cells that are still there from when I was born. I don't know. It's a good question. You'd have to ask a biologist. Yeah. What? It's still from when you were born? No, but it grew. I guess that but I guess that it refreshes itself. I don't know. What? Sorry? Yeah, rejuvenates normally. And so it's still considered me. So similar is also Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael, each generation is just a renewal of the cells, but we are still the original people that came out of Mitzrayim. And so it's a very powerful message, because it's mamish a stira here. You should say, "V'oisom hoitzi mishom leman hovi oisonu." Yeah, you should say oisom, not oisonu hoitzi mishom leman hovi oisonu. It seems that these are the 2 exactly the same, but they were not the same. Oh, awesome. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it could be. But in any case, it's a nice deal, because that's what he finishes off with that posuk. That Chayev Odom Nizas Asma Kilu Hu Yotzim Mitzrayim, meaning it's not the history our forefathers, but it's not related to us. We are one organism. And this is what Moshe, what the raya from the Posuk, that Moshe Rabbeinu says, he took us out of Mitzrayim and he brought us into Mitzrayim, in Eretz Yisrael. So in other words, it's not two generations. It's one generation. It's one organism. We are one. Okay?
Maybe the truth of the word. The Neshama back.
And kind of, yeah. But you don't need to go that far. That's what I'm saying. A nation is defined by being a nation, and the people that come in and go out does not change the nation. You understand what I'm saying? So you have a concept of a nation, and the fact that this nation, nobody after 200 years, nobody is still of the people that were originally, but it's still called the Bnei Israel. You understand? It's still called the Eretz Israel. It's still called Israel. Let's put it that way. It's not, even though that we are completely refreshed, but it's still considered as if we came out of Mitzrayim. So it's more, you can say either that the Gilgulim of the Neshomas, or you can give it a more Lomdish, more Yehuda than Israel. Yeah. Okay, but we are still, even Yehuda, we are still Yehuda, even though that the Shevet Yehuda already, I mean, the one that were there, I mean, it's after 1,000 years, there's nobody else living till today. What? There were the Golus, the first Golus, the Aseret HaShvatim. This is Israel, yeah. Yosef, yeah. And we have still a bit Binyamin. Binyamin stayed, and Shimon maybe, and Levi. So we have still four Shvatim that stayed. Yeah. Okay. So that's a very interesting. Oisona means that we are always one. And this is the beautiful right that we should see ourselves not, it means in other words, not say this were my parents, they were older people, they were primitive, whatever it is, and we are different, we are already advanced. No, we are the same because we are one nation. And the nation, it renews itself, but it remains the same nation with the same identity, core identity. And then is Lefikoch, that this is the start of the Hallel. Sorry? What do you mean to skip the matzah? Oh, so the Hallel, so the question is a few questions you can ask. We said that one of the 4 mitzvahs is Hallel. Don't forget the 4 mitzvahs, Kiddush, Magid, Matzah, and Hallel. These are the 4 milestones that you have to do during the night. And so suddenly we start with a Hallel, and then we're eating, and then we are continuing with the Hallel. So some explain it's because as we're going to say the Hallel, and in the second posuk, the second capital of the Hallel is B'tzeis Yisroel Mitzrayim. So it's also again an Hagadah. So why not putting it in the Hagadah? Okay, that's the nicest answer. So we're going to say Hallel after the meal, but we're going to still mention B'tzeis Yisroel Mitzrayim. So why don't we put that part of the Hallel already in the Magid? Yeah, it's a Mishnah. It's not later on. It's from the time of the Mishnah already that it was split up into. Oh, yeah, that's by Kriyas Yamsu. They asked. That's the answer. Why don't we say Hallel Tak on Shvisha Pesach? To say Hallel, complete Hallel. We don't make a complete Hallel on Shvisha Pesach. No. Yeah. So no, but the answer is there is a posuk that Ashir Yeh Lochem Keleil Hiskadesh Chag. There's a story by Sancherib when, don't remember which king, didn't want to say Hallel, and then the Novi tells him off, and he tells him you should say Hallel like in the night of Chag, and the night of Chag is Pesach, and so it says there Kashir that we had to sing, and a Sipur is not a shir. You have a Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim, Hagadah, and then you have a shir. So that's when we say Hallel, the real word should be shir, yeah, not Hallel. It's a shir. It's a different din of. It's a shir, and so therefore we are adding a shear to the sipur. This is another answer in the Gemara, I think. In order to give to the second kois a shear, something which lifts it up towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and so we add a bit of the Hallel to the second kois, because otherwise the second kois has only sipur. Later on, you have Dayenu, Alachas Kamo V'Kamo, that was later. But in the time of Chazal, it didn't exist, these piyutim. So there was only, the Maggid was only storytelling. But then we're going to suddenly make a brocha. So Chazal said, say a bit of the Hallel, at the beginning of the Hallel, put on the second course. Yeah? There are two answers why we start with the Hallel without just the first two kapitler. One of them is because it's B'tzeis Yisrael, since we are going to say it after the meal, but 1 second, B'tzeis Yisrael Mitzrayim is an Hagadah, is a sipur. Why don't you put it in the Maggid? That's and then the second reason is so that you should add a bit of a shear also to the second course. Shear for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Should be Lahadroi, it's called Lahadroi, to give it. Yeah?
Is that we have to say it.
Yeah. Where? By me doesn't say that. Yeah. That's why. So, we're normal from Shiro Chadosho. Yeah. Yeah. So, because so far we were only busy with storytelling, and there is no simcha, there's no hilul to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And before we're making a brocha on the second course, we want to lift it up, so we say a bit of Hallel. So a few kapitles of Hallel. Okay, we start already off. And then we say the brocha, which is the brocha on the Maggid, which is Goal Yisrael, on the cost. We always make the brocha. Once a guy asked me, because I told him, we drink 4 wines. He asked me, why is wine important? I said, but in Pesach night, we even have to drink 4 cups of wine. So he thought that we have to drink 4 cups of wine like that. I said, no, because there are 4 blessings. And by us, a blessing is much more choshev if it's done on a wine. That's why by a chuppah, we also do a blessing on a wine. Why? Because it makes the whole blessing, gives it chashivus. And so therefore also here, Chazal said, we're going to have 4 important blessings. I want you to do the blessings on wine. It should be a choshev a blessing. It should be much more pirsum and this, I don't know, call it how you want to call it, but it gives it the chashivas to the blessing. And so all the 4 mitzvahs, we finish off with a blessing, which we're going to have wine. Okay? We have time still to continue? Yeah, a little bit.
Only 11.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, theoretically. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, then let's continue further. We have rochzo is a normal washing, and moitzi matzo. As you know, we're going to have 3, so we make moitzi lechem menorah. We do on all 3 of them because we should have the lechem mishnah. And then when we al achilas matzo, we only mean the lechem oini, the broken one. So we drop one of them we drop, and so that we make the al achilas matzo on the lechem oini. It's like a bit complicated, like you hold it. And, what? Yeah. No, so we have 1 sholem that we have. So we have a sholem to make a broch on the sholem, but also on the broken one. No, the halacha is normally that you. Yeah. No, it's okay. It's not. It's not. But here also, it's printed by me also. Maniach es amatza tachtoina, v'oich es evelyono v'apchuso. Yeah. It's on the sholem and on the pruso. The third one is only there for the lechem mishnah. then you put it away. But the lechem mishnah is more as a yom tov, so it's hamoitze lechem min oretz. But al achilas matzo, you do it on the top one and on the pruso.
And one of the black.
Two. So there are some who say to eat two kezaisim, but yeah, you have a good question. It's I think you're right. It should be one should be 27. It's the matzo, and the other one is only the rabbonon. It's only for the yom tov dikas udo. So it's I don't know. Yeah, it's less than half. It's 18. How do you know? No, 2/3 of a machine matzah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't say that before, but it could be 2/3. Yeah, it could be. It's much less. It's much less. No. But like I said to you, in halachically we should eat 2 kezaisim, halachically, but it's very hard. So at least try to as much as you can, but at least 1 kezais for sure. No. No. Otherwise, Rob of Tisha B'Av I fasted. Do Rob Kekulo. No. Yeah, I know. What on? What? Yeah, but I like explained you there's an Indian to do. But okay, if you can't, you can't. But it's Indian. More is the Rabbonon, but we say we make a kezais. We also try to make a kezais there, so it's a bit complicated. The kezais. Koirech you don't. You there you because what? So you have no. So the Gemara gives a list of four things, but salad and grain, and then other things which I don't know what they are. But yeah, the question is, should you the katrille? There are some who mix. Are you mixing? Are you mixing salad with more oil? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's a shaila. If it's better, maybe to take only one, not to mix. There are those who hold. No, salad then. Only salad. Okay. A minute. We don't change. We don't change a minute. Give it back. It's an komma. He says, "Loi sikoim." Point at the Schwieger. Yeah, my Schwer used to say that all the time. Yeah. What? Yeah. Your father will give to your wife. Yeah. Let your father give. Whatever your father does, you do anyway. Yeah. No, but she has to eat more because she has to eat. Better leaves. I don't know. The problem is once you start mixing, then it's the time gets. You're right, but that's already an halachic. You have to put charoises on it. But that's but yeah, but still. But anyway, what black taran charoises? Interesting. Yeah, like taran. Yeah. So I will give you an explanation because there is a koirech. Koirech is Rabbi Yosef Ben Soloveitchik explains very nicely. Why do we have to eat it as one sandwich? It's really to show the unity of the two kind of people. He speaks about the farmers and the shepherds, if you remember. So the shepherd is the Pesach, and the farmer is the Matzo. And what about the moral? I always wondered what the moral is. So I believe that the more, that's why we put it in Charoises. Charoises is the Levanim, yeah? It's the tit of the, these are the the urbanists. So you have farmers, then you have the shepherds, they're outside, and then you have the people in the city. Cities is walls, is bricks, is stones. Yeah, these are the people that live in the cities. They're not farming and not shepherds, and they are busy with buildings, walls and houses. We don't in a city. You don't make houses of wood, because if one burns, the whole city is burned. So you build always in the city with stone. So it's about stone. So these are the stone builders. Klal Yisrael was a stone builder before he came out of Mitzrayim. Yeah, they built Pitom and Ramses. So they were stone builders. So the Charoises is taking the Moror into Charoises to remind us that the Moror represents the urban, what do you call it, the city people, the third kind of people. And when we eat them together, so Hillel says that we have to eat them together to show unity in Klal Yisrael. Yeah, okay? So it's the three kind of people, the shepherds, the farmers, and the city people. So the farmers are the matzah, yeah. And the shepherds is the Pesach, and Moror in the Charoises is to remind us from the people that are the city people. And the city people is also, I explained you also, these are the Lishkas Hagozis, the Sanhedrin, the Torah. This is what we were shepherds and farmers, and we became Chachomim, we became Torah. And Torah is the third one, which is the city. We became city people. And this is the Lishkas Hagozis, where the Sanhedrin were. Gozis is the people that cut stones, I think, yeah. Okay, so this is the Koirech, very interesting halacha. Then they have Shulchan Aruch and Sofon. Sofon is something very interesting. It's the Afikoimen. That's why it's called Sofon, because it's hidden. Why is it hidden? So some say so that the children should not steal it. But I think it's the other way around. So we were hiding the Apikoimen in order to keep some for the end. Because at the time, people were hungry and there were just a bit of matzah, enough matzah, and people will finish it, and we won't have to finish off the Hagadah to finish off the meal with an Apikoimen. So it was put aside. It was tofun, yeah? So that we leave the last kezayis for the end. So the tzofon means hidden. And then, in order to keep the children awake, the children were asked to kind of, there was a game of stealing it and asking a present to receive it back. It's already brought down in early sources, that minig. But why do we have to eat afikoimen? Why taka? And so the answer is, in reality, it is a din in Korban Pesach. Oh, so afikomen is a Greek word that is the dessert. It's the dessert. Yeah. Karpas is also Greek, normally. Karpos. Some say no, some say yes, but karpos is a fruit. Yeah. Yeah, but this is modern Hebrew, not in halachically. Karpas is Greek from karpos, and afikoimen is the dessert, the last. Yeah. So that's why I already spoke about that. Yeah, but it's not only that. We believe that the Yevonim are a bad culture, and therefore Hanukkah, the Yevonim, the Greek culture is bad. But it's not true. The Greek culture is beautiful. It is so beautiful that I think one of the Tanum, I think Rabbi Gamir holds that you're allowed to, you're not allowed to translate the Torah, but you're allowed to translate it in Greek. Greek is Yefes, and others go Yoshev Yefes Bo'el Shem. Yefes should be sitting in. Yeah. Yaft Elokim leyefes, vayishkon ba'ol Shem. Shem we are Shemats, yeah? Shem is us, Shem ve'ever. Vayishkon ba'ol Shem. So you should, there's a whole shot in that the Greek is, oh, the Yovan is good, the Misyavnim is bad. It's not against the Greek philosophy, it's against the Jews that wanted to become Greek. But the Greek philosophy is a very good philosophy. The Rambam, everything. I told you, at least one or two of the Ikre Adas is a Greek philosophy. Was not from Chazal, but from Greek philosophy. So they want to explain, yeah, but the Greek only had it from our Chazal. But that's theoretically, hypothetical. Yeah, we don't know. But there is this, that's why we are not against the Greek philosophy and the Greek culture. What we are against is to change ourselves into a Greek people, the Misyavnim. The Misyavnim are the people that threw away our Masoros and replaced it by Greek. But on itself, the Greek is not bad.
From both?
Yeah, that's
the Greek and the first time I hear that.
Yeah, that's a posuk. It's a posuk in the Torah. You can Yaft Elokim leyefes. It means it's beautiful. Vayishkoin ba'ol Hashem, and he should rest. He should be in Ol Hashem means the Beis Hamedrash. It should be introduced in the Beis Hamedrash. That's why we have Afikoiman, we have Apoitek, we have all the Greek words that have been introduced, that we use nearly. There's not 3 dapim in the Gemara that doesn't use a Greek word or a Greek name. Even Tanuim had Greek name, Antignois, and etc.
Je pense que je peux rajouter un autre. Je pense que chaque niveau, c'est peut-être pendant 200 ans, dans les bases. Peut-être que la niveau s'est arrêté avec les Français.
Ouais.
C'est-à-dire, nous, avec la nouveau, on était attachés au corps, et quand le repos vient innové,
Ouais.
il y a un changement qui se passe. Il y a une acceptation de commencer à mettre le poids sur le cerveau, développer le cerveau. Il y avait un moment de basculement, on ne savait pas. Parce que quand tu as Yermia Nouvé qui dit des choses, Yeshai, ou tous les Nevi'im avant ça, où c'était
Ouais. 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 Bah, c'est pour ça qu'on dit que Yaft Elokim leyefes. Non, Shem, Bishko Ba'ol Shem, dans notre. Ok. Ouais. Chochma b'goyim tamim. Ouais. 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 Pourquoi nous on doit avoir les outils de goyim pour ouais. Donc il faut prendre la chochma et l'intégrer chez nous. C'est ce que Rav Kook dit. Toi, tu demandes une question, you asking a question, Rav Kook also. Rav Kook also says that it's a mitzvah to go out and look in all the chokhmas in the people and integrate it in us, to take it in, to absorb it, and should be part of us as well. And you want to say, no, let's keep it clean for Moshe Rabbeinu, clean and... Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Chez Aristote. Ouais. Ouais.
Est-ce que tu veux annuler les cours demain?
Ouais.
Non, mais je sais bien, maintenant, nous, on a grandi différemment.
Ouais.
Ils ont leur
Ouais.
feuille-là.
Ouais.
On ne peut pas penser comme les Grecs, on ne peut pas penser comme les Romains. On a notre idée. C'est qu'Hachem nous a donné. On peut utiliser la voiture que le goy a fait, mais à kol nivro bishvili. Ah oui.
What I did is I brought you facts and posuk and facts, and it's not only me. I've seen it. Okay, I didn't see it in traditional Haredi publications. What I just said, that's clear. But it's Levinas is marich a lot on that. Now Levinas is not Rashke Bahag, and he does not define us what it is. But it is clear that when you read the Gemara, you see only a lot of Greek words and Greek names, and then there are Megayer. Yeah, the Torahs are Greek. You always continuously see the Rambam in Aristo and even the Posk. What? Ouais. Et tu dois aller chez les Grecs. Ouais. Connaissait les langues. Ouais. Je sais pas s'il connaissait la philosophie grecque. Je sais pas. Ok. Ouais. Ouais. There's a lot of the poskim from the previous. What I think it became because the university opened up to the Jews, that there was a danger of the Jews going too much. So Chazal, our from the last 200 years, said no, we don't. The Yevonim, Chanukah is against the Greek philosophy, which is wrong, which is definitely wrong. But it's what you hear in the best method. In order for us to avoid going to university and then completely go off the derech. No, but the university at the time were Jews that went to university. They wanted to go to learn philosophy. Understand? It was every rabbiner in Germany had to have a doctorate in philosophy. Understand? So it was important to learn philosophy. Rabbi Yosef Soloveitchik and Lubavitcher Rebbe studied engineering, but Rabbi Yosef Soloveitchik studied engineering, philosophy. Yeah. I know, yeah, because it was at the time a tool. That he asked the question, why do we need to? Yeah, I understand this question. It's a good question. But this is also what Rav Kook says. But in any case, it's Chas v'Sholem, the Chanukah is against the Misyavnim, but not against the Yevonim. The Yevonim on themselves, the philosophy is not bad, but it is the Misyavnim that is a problem. It is the Jews. No, so there are some who want to say that it's not the Greek, that the fight was against our own people. It was a civil war. That it was the Misyavnim that put the Avodah Zorah, they were Metamed they're not the Goyim. I know it's. What? Yeah, that's the Asam who want to explain. It's against the Misyavnim. I've seen it, yeah. But we don't like to say it, so we are. No, it was against the Yevonim, but it was a civil war. Yeah, I've seen it. It was a whole group of people that beautiful Greek philosophy, and they became also. They took over their religion. We understand a bit the danger of what he explains. Why do I have to go and look for there? And then they went there, and then they took. Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, the real enemy was the real problem was the Tzav, the Jews themselves. That's why they put it in the Beis Hamikdash. They understood. The Yevonim will not put in Beis. They don't know what. But it is the idea that it was done by the Jews, the Misyavnim. No, but you have to look at it from an historical perspective, and then we are giving it a more religious. Hanukkah became, as I explained, Hanukkah became a religious experience. Also, it was. There's a lot to talk about. But let's finish off. We are not by Hanukkah now. We have a tzofun. Tzofun is a apikoyman. It's hidden so that we keep a little bit of the. And there are minik to eat two kezeisim of apikoyman, because one for the Pesach and one for the matzah. So halachically, one should eat two kezeisim for the apikoyman. But again, it can be the small kezesim, the mamash small kezesim. It's not. It doesn't need to be the big one. There are some who want maybe to say that the real matzah is the afikomen. So that, but it's not how we make it. Yeah. Yeah. No, but normally, yeah, but there. So this is very interesting. How the afikomen is we ain't maftirin achar pesach afikomen. We don't eat a dessert after the korban pesach. What? Oh, so our afikomen is going to be the korban pesach, which is alucha. We had to eat the korban pesach at the end of the meal. So how did it work when there was a Beis Hamikdash? We made the chagiga. We made the shkorban chagiga. Chagiga Yudalit, it's called, a special chagiga. And then we ate from the chagiga. And then when we were already nearly full, the last kazayis, we ate from the korban pesach. So, no, the korban pesach was the afikomen. Korban pesach was at the end, ala soiva. We don't eat it when we are hungry like that. We eat it once we already ala soiva. We already calm down, and then we're gonna eat the kazayis from the korban pesach. What? 200? No, a gedi. Did you see how much meat there is in a gedi? A gedi is a very small, a baby goat, a baby. It's tiny, hardly meat. I don't know how to find the meat on a gedi. What? Sorry. What do you mean the back part? No, because of the no. Here you have to eat the whole. In any case, you had to have a kazayis, and the kazayis was always at the end. And so, zecher to the kazayis at the end, we eat the korban pesach. We ate the matzah also at the end, but because they ate the korban pesach with the matzah, so we eat 2 kazayisim. Afikomen normally should be 2 kazayisim. Yeah. Well, katril roy likar shnei kazayisim. It says here also. Yeah, it's one for the pesach and one for the matzah. Then we bench, and then we say Hallel. And that's a long one. People are tired already, and women don't have the patience anymore. And then there is a minhag to get confused about the Yalelucho, to make with the brocha, without the brocha. Every Hagadah has a different nusach. I don't know why. The minhag is to get confused.
I think it's
Yeah, but it's printed. They print sometimes both. So if you're a bit tired, you will say 2 times the same brocha, like me. It happens by me already. So we are saying Hallel. Hallel is we don't make a brocha because it's only a shir and not a proper Hallel, but we finish off the Hallel, and then what we are saying there's a machlokes in the Gemara. If you're saying Yalelucho straight afterwards with a brocha, or we are saying Nishmas. Yeah? Because the Mishnah says that we should say Hallel. We should say Hallel HaGodel. It's already in the Mishnah. Rabbi Tarfoin says that we should say Hallel HaGodel. Hallel HaGodel is Odul Hashem Kitov. It's also called kind of a Hallel. And then you have the Nishmas. Nishmas is the longest one. And this is called the Birkas Hashir. The Mishnah says to say Birkas Hashir and Hallel HaGodel. And so the machlokes is, what is Birkas Hashir? And some say simply Yalelucho, others say it's the whole Nishmas Kol Chai. Yeah? So it's the long Nishkacha. So it's a machlokes in the Gemara. If Birkas Hashir, which has in the Mishnah, Kuf Yud, 1 second, it's important to know because it says Moiser Shlishi Moroch al Moiser Revi Goimer Olav es Hallel. He should finish the Hallel. The Oimer Olav Birkas Hashir, and he should say on it the Birkas Hashir. So what is Birkas Hashir? So the Gemara asks, "My Birkas Hashir." Rav Yehuda Omar Yalelucho. It's a short one. The Yalelucho is the little that we say always after Hallel. Yeah, and Rabbi Yochanan Omar Nishmas Kol Chai. So it's a machlokes Amoraim. What means the Birkas Hashir? And so we are doing both. So we are saying the Nishmas, and we are also saying Yalulucho. And there is a Rabbi Tarfo in Oimar, Tono Rabbonon, yeah, Tono Revi, Goim Role Vesahal, Voimer, Halel Agodl, Div Rabbi Tarfo. So Rabbi Tarfo says not only to say the Halel, the normal Halel, but also the Halel Agodl from Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay? So there is, if you want, 3 Halels that we are saying. We're saying the Halel, the normal Halel. We're saying the Halel Agodl, which is Hoidul Hashem Kitov Kilo El Mchazdoi. And then we are saying the Birkas Ashir, which is also kind of a Halel from the Anshe Knesses Agdoilo, which is the Nishmas Kol Chai. And then we're saying Yalulucho. So there's always a problem in the brocha, which brocha to make. So when you finish, by me it's printed. I don't know how it's printed by you. In the Yalulucho after Halel, it says the brocha. Oh. Yeah. And so the question, what does it mean, the Ishtabach bebrocha? Does it mean the brocha as we say in the morning? Or it means the Melech Mol Batish Brocha, the Yalulucho that they print again? Nearly in all the Hagadas, they will print twice Yalulucho. So you don't have to say twice. It doesn't say? No, this one not, no. But normally they print twice Yalulucho. Okay? It's a Gemara. This is a Gemara, the Hallel. It's not a Piyut that came later. And then we finish with Nirtzo, and then we sing Chazal Sidu Pesach. That's the finish. And then if somebody is really tired, then you can go to sleep. And then you have the Piyutim, which have been added later on, beautiful Piyutim. And the Hagadah is what I explained you. What I explained you is that after the Hagadah, we can start with the time, with the evolution of time. Because Pesach is about freezing time. What were we without looking what we will become? And the Hagadah is already the beginning of time. That the history is a chain of events. Yeah, that everything has a meaning to the end. So we start off with Pesach. Yeah, that Abu, the Zovin Abu Bisrizuzi, both come Pesach, and that from the Yetzias Mitzrayim till today, there is kind of it's a meaningful history, and it's not a random chain of events. And this is the beginning, only at the end of the Hagadah, where we can say that already. Okay, because the whole Pesach Be'etzem is against that. In theory, is the Siras HaOmer we should count after Pesach. Because Mimochas HaShabbos means after the week of Pesach. Yeah? It's not even like the Tzedokim. There is one of the groups of these Tzedokim Dika groups that actually starts to count Siras HaOmer after Pesach. So after Shvisha Pesach. And then you have, so Shvis, yeah. Shvis. No, but for Shavuos is anyway always after 7 weeks after we start counting. Yeah, they have a Shavuos a week later. That is, if you read the Psukim, that's the Poshet Pshat. And so that's what I'm saying. Pesach, because Pesach is no time. It's the freezing of time. We go back and we really have to remember who we were. And then we start with the counting. Each day a separate day in order to understand that there is also in the history. That's why we celebrate our history where we are coming to. So, according to the Kuzari, it's a Chochom Echad that came, or Novi, we don't know whom, and I explained it is because people were hungry with the Chodosh. Otherwise, they have to wait another week to eat. And so he explained, but it doesn't go against the Torah because you can translate Shabbos means as long as it does not contradict, the Kuzari says, as long as it does not contradict the Posuk, the Novi or Chochom or whoever is can change. But because the Jews were hungry and it was not an abundance as it was originally, and so Chazal decided to make it as early as possible. Mamish the day after Yom Tov. That's kind of the Kuzari. But that means that we are, that's why we also already the Hagadah. Hagadah is already the history that we continue from the time of Mitzrayim. Any questions? Clear? Yeah. I think personally, if one prepares himself, it becomes more, it's easier to digest. Otherwise, you understand? You doubt. Like this, at least you know. So there are 4 milestones: Kiddush, Hagadah, Matzah, and Halal. And those are the 4 milestones, are the 4 koises that we're going to make the koises on them. And then we have in the Hagadah, there are 4 different Hagadahs which have been combined into one. You have the Zionistic Hagadah, the Torahic Hagadah. You have the Hagadah from the Kurim, which the one from the Chumash, and then you have the Hagadah from Rabbi Gamliel, which is based on the Matzuzu, where it says Ba'avur Zeh, so where you point with the finger. So it's a visual Hagadah, which makes more sense also, personally. And then you have we had the Koirach, which we explained was the unification of the 3 kinds of people: the shepherds, the farmers, and the city people. Yeah, the one that is in the city. That's why the Charoises is the Levanim, the tit that we do for the stones. And then we had why do we say a little bit of the Halal before the meal? So either in order to give the second kois a bit more of a shear, something the Reuben, or because B'tzeis Yisrael Mitzrayim is still a part of the Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim, so Chazal took it and put it into Magid. So it's part of the Halal that was cut, the part of Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim that was put in the Magid, and the rest we're going to say afterwards. That's why the minig in Antwerp, which is terrible for me, I don't have the patience, is to say Halal in the night after davening. Shulchan Aruch said, the Tur says it's a beautiful minig, because then we can say the whole Halal with the brocha. Yeah? So some say it's Kedai. I don't know, but I don't have a problem with saying Halal, but not when he sings all the song, and then the children are waiting at home, small children. It's not fair. It says that we should go quickly, and then I don't know. It's personally, maybe I have to work on myself. My verticality. I have to work on my verticality. What? No, but you have to keep them awake till you want to keep them awake as long as possible. And they change now the clock. They changed the clock. It's going to be much later. It's not about the hunger. It's about the keeping them awake. It's I've got Baruch Hashem, I'm going to have Einiklich that's going to be there, and I want them to, and if he's going to sing all the song, B'tzeis Yisrael, for every capital he's going to sing, in Eisenman, they don't say Halal. So those who have the problem, I don't know. The Ekes don't say Halal, no. But the Prushim in Yerushalayim do say Halal. So I'm stuck a little bit. I think I'm going to have to, but it's I don't understand. And so this is the Halal. There are 3 Halals which are mentioned in the Gemara. There's a normal Halal, Halal Hagodel, and the Nishmas. It's a Mefurische Gemara to say Nishmas and to say, so it's not much later. It's still in the Gemara. And what else did we see? That's it. So, and also the shiurim. It's something good to remember by heart. Is the kois is 86 milliliters, the kezais is 27 grams, but that's already the biggest. But it's less than half, or about half, if it's other shiurim that you want. The 27 grams. So it's good to look in the boxes how much it weighs. You can't weigh 30 grams unless you have a very specific kitchen weight, but to take a box and you divide by the number of matzahs that you have, and this is going to be more or less, then you know more or less how much it should be. And I repeat it, we don't have mitzvahs. I started once to eat shalishidas. Why? Because I thought to myself, an avera to do something that I don't want to do, mele. But here, I can, that they will punish me for not eating. Yeah, this I don't want. You understand? If they punish me for an avera that I've done, mele is I had a no from the avera. But here, they punish me that you did not eat. I said no, at can. So at least here also it's a mitzvah to eat. You know, Baruch Hashem, it would have been a mitzvah to fast. You would not be so happy. So at least eat it with the simcha, and try to eat it like a korban. It really is. It is considered like a korban, like we're going back. Mikol eitz hadat ochel toichal. This is the mother of all the mitzvahs. This is still a remnant of the mother of all the mitzvahs, which is Mikol eitz hagan ochel toichal. And so we should eat it with the geschmack and eat it mamish with the kezais, with all the shittas. So we should be able to enjoy it. And the Zohar says that it is a matzah shel refuah. It gives refuahs, so you know it can't do harm anyway. So we should do it properly as much as we can. And also the cost, try to finish off the cost. And it's better to take a small cost than to take a big one and only drink the roy from the cost. May we be zorgetake to the Gula Shlemo. We can still go up to Eretz Yisrael, and maybe we will find a solution on how we could bring the Korban Pesach in the Beis Hamikdash. It's still possible, I think, theoretically. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's still possible in any case. And we should be zocher then to eat the Korban Pesach, and then we will be able to say minas vochim u'min aptochim, and zocher to a good Yom Tov. Those who travel in good health and come back with good energy and spirit, high spirit, and in good health.